Hello LEGO fans, Matt from Bricks back with another video. Today I'm going to take a look at a set that I've had for a little bit and I just haven't built, but I finally decided I want to go ahead and do this because it's going to affect kind of how I arrange things in the city going forward with the building of the monorail and other stuff as of the time of this video. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what that particular set is going to be. Yes, it is the LEGO Creator Expert Diner Set number 10260. And I will say initially, this is one that I had been on the fence about because some other people have been really iffy about it because they think it's so different compared to the other modulars. So I decided to go ahead and take a chance and get this. For a long time, everything has been, at least in the North America market, on Lego.com. It has been out of stock, but I did happen to catch a brief period where it was on back order, so I went ahead and got it, and I actually got it within a week or so after doing that. So I'm actually pretty happy about that going forward here. But let's take a look at the set itself and see what kind of fun stuff is in here. So I'm actually going to start first with this car that comes with the set, which I think is kind of a rare thing for the modulars, if I recall correctly. I don't think anything else actually has one at the moment. Maybe the corner garage does. But this is definitely in the style of a retro, I'm sure 50s or 60s kind of Cadillac style, which I like what the designers did with this. It's actually really neat. For what it is, it's pretty detailed as far as I can tell. This back end is really retro. It's really fun. But it is in a 6 wide body style, and it can actually fit 2 figures comfortably in there, as you can see. So that's pretty neat. And of course, one of the minifigs here, this is the musician rocker guy here with his guitar in the back seat, pulling up to the diner to have a bite to eat and all that good stuff, perhaps. So there's the Cadillac. I'm gonna flip around here. Again, the back, I really like how they designed that. And the front just looks really good too. It definitely looks like it's from that era. So that's the Cadillac. Let's take a look at the rest. Alright, so let's have a look at the diner building itself here. First, you can see the street level. There's some nice design to it. A nice kind of retro mailbox, a parking meter, a couple of flower beds. And then, of course, the diner section here. But let's expand out and see what the entire building looks like. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Let's have a look around the sides here real quick. I found it very interesting that they deliberately designed this and the side here to have this very obvious cutoff point between the one wall and the other wall here for the rest of this old school building here. I think it's kind of distinctive. The back, yeah, this actually looks like it could come from that era. It's actually really cool. This is a fume hood that's kind of sticking out from the inside here. I'll show you what that is momentarily. I love the blue, the turquoise or teal, whatever palette that is there with the pink and the white. I think it just looks really, really good together here. A back door for the kitchen area for the diner. A very interesting build here was this back stairway. That was a little challenging initially until you got the hang of what was going on there. And you can see there's 3 floors here. The entrances come from the back for the 2nd and 3rd floor. And then there's actually an external stairway up here, which is kind of interesting. Windows. And the most distinctive feature, of course, is this nice kind of smooth, rounded structure here for both the kind of the ceiling, or whatever you want to call this, kind of the outward-facing portion, and the diner portion as well here. But all in all, I think this is a really neat kind of definitely 50s look to it. Let's take a look inside. Alright, so we'll have a look at the 1st floor here, and again, this is the most distinctive, I think, of this entire building because of what it is. You can see that with the other floors off, the external outward-facing, I don't even know what that's called, to be honest with you, but the part that has the sign on there, that's all integrated in here. That doesn't come off, which does make it kind of interesting. The diner sign there is really, really neat. I like how they did that. The only thing I would probably change is probably just smooth that out with some tiles like they did elsewhere, but I'm not going to be picky on that. Inside, yeah, this is the epitome of a 1950s, 1960s Johnny Rockets, you know, what you would think of as a diner, the kind of thing you saw in like Grease and stuff like that. I think they got this right. So you can see you've got a soda fountain here, a nice big counter, the seats, the big cushiony, plushy seat things here on the sides. You got a nice table with a huge burger on there already, a jukebox, which I think is fantastic. I love how they built that. Or on the other side, you have a big gumball machine. Just, it looks so good. I really like how this first floor came out. I'm gonna blow the piece off here just 1 second. Yeah, this is just, I love this design. I'm really happy with how this looks. It's better than I expected when I first set out to do this. Oh, and a coffee maker back here too. I forgot about that. And some prep materials there, counter space, and of course the huge grill with a large fume hood above that. What would you expect in a diner, right? So, yeah, that is basically the first floor here. And of course, some very nice 50-esque wall decor here too. Very cool. Let's take a look at the second floor. Here's the second floor separated out. And first thing I will note is the very distinctive window structure here with the Art Deco style. I think that's so cool and unique. And it really kind of is inspiring me to try to do something like that for one of my own mocks. So I think I'm gonna do that. Don't know how, but I'm going to. On the inside, this is a gym. Now, of course, in my city, I've already got a gym, but I think this is a pretty cool setup. You've got, looks like a trainer, and you've got, you got the guy with his punching gloves and his long, big wavy hair there. Definitely retro look to it. Love how they designed the punching bag here. A lot of ability to move around, actually punching it. And the boxing ring is actually kind of neat. Not something I would have thought of, but kind of a neat structure to have that in there. And some free weights, barbells there. And of course, you gotta have the huge set here. Just lift that off, see what that looks like. And there's your bench. And then a gigantic water cooler, because you need to have water when you're working out, right? Again, from the back, this definitely has that older building look to it. I love how it looks. And again, the complicated stairway. Very interesting techniques on how they did this. I never would have thought of this. So again, props to LEGO designers that spend months and months doing these things. It's really cool. It shows in these builds. So there's actually the entrance to the gym area. You come up from the first floor up here, and you can then go upstairs to the third floor using those stairs. Oh, and by the way, there's an air conditioner and kind of a gutter rain collection system there too. Oh, and the design for these is actually really interesting. Just kind of point out how they look on the inside here. They're actually held in place by upside down panel pieces. And they're also held at the top here by these arch bricks. It's actually really neat. Never would have thought of this design myself, that's for sure. So that is the second floor, the gym workout area there. Very cool. Let's have a look at the third floor. Okay, so here's a look at the third floor. This is something really interesting. I don't know if this is actually a hint of as to what it is, or it's just the Art Deco exterior, but I do want to show this with the roof on it first, because it's really nice. This huge rounded structure at the top is just so cool. And the little antenna just gives it a nice little flare there. And then kind of an access panel to get up here, or skylight, whatever. And in the back, I just want to show this real quick here. There's the doorway inside to the third floor. Nice little rails here. And kind of a ladder to get up here with these little things on the side for kind of added effect. You can see real quick that the structure of the third floor is pretty similar other than the front. But I mean, the general building structure is the same as the second floor. So that actually helped the build process go along pretty well. And I did want to point out these two roof sections. A really interesting building technique for these, and what the process involved for those, but I love how that looks. Pretty nice. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take the roof off here. Let's have a look inside. Try to do this on camera here. There we go. All right. Oh, and that is maybe the manager or somebody here that's involved with the third floor particulars here, which happens to be a recording studio for the musician. That's where he's going. So you can see a nice, very ornate waiting area here. Kind of some nice wall and art deco here on the walls. What I find interesting is this little balcony access. I think that's pretty cool. And of course, you've got to have your water and beverages handy. You know, recording it, have some drinks to help keep your throat wet, right, when you're singing. Nice little printed sign there, rock and roll. This is pretty neat. This is the technical side of the studio. You can see a nice large tape recording area here and a mixing board of all kinds of stuff. I really like how they did this. I think that's pretty cool. And then through this doorway is the last section. You've got your recording area, your actual studio for performing. So the only thing that's in here is a large Studio X microphone, but that's pretty neat. You can probably put other things in here too, maybe like some instruments if you wanted to, but it is what it is. The effect here for the sound dampening is, I think, really cool, using all these Technic gear pieces. But it made for a really interesting look. I love how they did this. I think it came out really well. And there's one other thing I wanted to show about this. These two little panes here. This whole section is actually a really interesting build, and it's not 100% stable because of how they did this. But the idea is that you basically reverse arches upside down a couple times to create an open portion where you can slide in these panes that get held in and give it this nice little look here. Let's have a look from the other side here real quick. Yeah, pretty basic. But from the outside you can see that gives it a really neat kind of look inside at the recording studio. And of course here is the top section with the roundabout there. A nice little balcony area for the third floor. And both floors here have this really kind of interesting tiled structure here that makes it look like brick. And I think and I've seen people do this too, you could swap these things out and make it look even more aged if you really wanted to. So I think that could be kind of interesting. And I did want to point out too, if I go back to the roof piece, you can, when this is on, you can actually also lift this up. You can see there's a large light there, but this could give you access inside to that recording studio area if you really wanted to, without having to take the roof off. So that's kind of a neat feature. And again, there's the kind of nice skylight window that opens up. We're going to put this back on here. One-handed, so always try to find the truck. This on. And slide this back in here and pop this back on. And I'll worry about that off camera later, but yeah, you can see very nice set all around. I will note that you can see here, I did build this on a green base plate. That is not what the set comes with. It actually does come with a kind of a light tan base plate. However, I wanted to save this and use it for something else. And because of how I'm building this in my city, I felt that using the green would just work better anyway. So I went ahead and used that because these are in such big supply anyway, no big deal. So that's a look at the LEGO Creator Experts Modular Diner Set, number 10260. I hope you enjoyed that little look at it. I know there's so many people that have posted about this already, but my chance to give a review on it and what I think. I'm a huge fan of this, well worth it in my opinion. It's going to go right in the city. I will show it off in a city update video very soon. But for now, as always, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And please remember to like and subscribe and comment below your thoughts on the video and anything else I do in the city. And thanks for watching. Until next time, bye.